The Whitechapel Fatberg is the biggest fatberg we've ever found. So what we have is this huge, disgusting, smelly mass of congealed fat. It was so huge, we had to send teams of people down with pickaxes and shovels to hack out the fatberg, which was as long as 2 Wembley football pitches and weighed as much as 11 double-decker buses.
Fatbergs are usually removed and destroyed, and nobody's ever tried to preserve one before. So we're having to take all of our conservation principles and start from scratch in our thinking about how we display it.
The samples were collected for us by Thames Water from the Whitechapel sewers. There are various diseases you can catch from any exposure to it, from breathing in particles or absorbing it through your skin. We found that flies emerged from the sample as well.
I've worked at the museum quite a long time, but I've never X-rayed anything like the fatberg. We did it partly as a safety measure to see if there is anything sharp. In fact, when we looked at it the first time, the X-ray plate, we thought it looked like sort of a constellation or a galaxy. It looked much more beautiful than the fatberg itself.
Since we've dried the fatberg samples out, there is a much reduced contamination risk. Whenever we handle the fatberg, we make sure we wear full protective clothing. It feels quite like pumice stone, so although it looks quite wet and waxy, it's actually much lighter than you'd expect.
All the scientific work that we're doing, the analysis, this is part of the process of finding out what it is and can we actually care for it for the long term.
In order to do that, we are working with Cranfield University.
About 2/3 is fat, and then you got grit coming from the road, and then there's a small amount of protein and carbohydrates. The major component was palmitic acid, which is found in the cooked meat, in butter, but also in some of the conditioner or hydrating creams. The second highest was oleic acid, is found in olive oil. Because it's so rich in fat, it's actually very rich in energy. So the best thing to do would be to process this material for energy recovery.
We want to turn it into biodiesel, and then it will become a useful fuel or energy source, possibly for London buses or that kind of thing. What we can't use will go back to our sewage treatment works to be disposed of safely. It costs us about £1 million a month to clear them away. So bin it, don't block it.
The whole term fatberg, it was coined in London by London sewer workers, and it's a term now that has gone global and is used by cities worldwide to reflect a common menace that faces them.
We're all a bit responsible for it, and myself as well. I think it's a great idea that the Museum of London is exhibiting the Whitechapel Fatberg.
In order to display the fatberg, we're putting it inside a specially sealed box. That sealed box is then going to go inside a showcase as well. We know that it's going to be perfectly safe to display.
We are the Museum of London, and we reflect the highs and the lows of city living. That's something that we've been exploring in our season, City Now, City Future. And so for us, fatberg reflects a huge challenge that's facing the city, and so it feels very right to put it on display.